Hey guys, it's Nailbiter, and I've got another Battlefield 3 video here for you guys. Although, as you'll probably notice here from this first kill, this is actually pre-patch gameplay, because, you know, post-patch with the effects of suppression, there's no way I would have been able to get that first kill. I would have just been destroyed by suppression. And, you know, the only reason I'm showing you guys this gameplay is because I thought it was pretty good, and it's the last pre-patch gameplay I have, and since I didn't really want to talk too much about the gameplay in this video, I thought I would show it to you guys. It actually does, I should say, it does relate a little bit to the topic that I wanted to cover in this video. But just to give you an idea of what's going on, I'm playing some Strike at Karkan Conquest, and this is actually, I believe, a 64-player server, which is something that I don't typically do. I don't typically play in 64-player servers. And I'm using the G36C, which is, you know, I do pretty well in this round. You know, you can probably tell how the gun really doesn't have very much recoil at all, so I haven't used too much of it since the patch, but from you know, just using other weapons, it does seem like recoil has been increased, so that's another reason for why it may look like this gun has essentially no recoil. But anyways, back to the topic that I wanted to cover in this video, which, as I mentioned, kind of related to the gameplay and the fact that this is a 64-player server, but I kind of wanted to talk about just servers in general in Battlefield 3, and just to give you a lead into the topic, I wanted to talk about the fact that, you know, if you go on the server browser, or if you go to Battlelog and you go to the server browser and you search Conquest, either Conquest or Conquest large maps, just like with map rotation checked in the server search options, and for 32 players, and you'll come up with, you know, at any given time, maybe a little more on the weekends, you'll come up with maybe a couple servers that are full and a couple that are, you know, have got some people in it. But for the most part, you know, at most you're going to find at this point, you know, maybe 6 or 7 servers that are populated with enough players that you could really join. And I mean, that's kind of, I think that's a little optimistic, to be honest. I think in general there are fewer servers than that have, you know, that play all maps, that run through all the maps, and that are, you know, either that have 32 players in them. I haven't checked 64 players, but honestly, I don't think it's that much different for 64 players. And so if you do that first, and then after that, if you check 64 players, Operation Metro, no map rotation, you'll come up with, you'll actually come up with, I think, at least 7 or 8 servers that are fully populated with a bunch of people in the queues. And you know, I kind of wanted to talk just about this because, you know, maybe I'm in the minority in this case, but I personally wouldn't want to play Operation Metro 24/7 the entire time on 64 players. And you know, it's funny because a lot of people are negative about, or I've heard lots of negativity about the close quarters expansion, but if you look at the player population and what the majority of players are playing, it really is Operation Metro and those like 64 player servers where, you know, it's explosive spamming, and it's, you know, it's completely ridiculous in my opinion. I don't know how anybody, I mean, you know, maybe it's just, maybe most people enjoy that sort of thing, but I don't know. I just don't know how people could manage to play more than a couple rounds of that in a row before getting either bored or just extremely frustrated. And you know, it is funny, I think, that there has been so much negativity about the close quarters expansion, because, you know, that's essentially, you know, Operation Metro is really the most popular map by far in the game, and you know, there's no reason DICE wouldn't want to try to replicate that success with some other similarly built maps. Now, just to go back to the servers, the other part of this that I wanted to point out is if you do look at the, you know, those servers that are populated, that play, you know, that have map rotation, that play Conquest large or Conquest 32 players, if you look at those servers, the majority of those servers are going to be either 24/7 of another map, like say 24/7 Caspian Border or something, or they're going to have like a very specific and kind of limited map rotation, or it's going to be, say, high tickets, or you know, fast respawn or fast vehicle respawn. And you know, that means there are very few servers out there right now that just play, you know, normal either Conquest or Conquest Large 32 players, just you know, typical or like regular map rotation. There are very few servers out there that actually play that sort of you know, those just sort of standard settings. And you know, unfortunately for me, those are the settings that I prefer. I don't really like to have all that extra stuff. And you know, I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about that. And I'm not saying that it's bad that or that DICE has given, you know, players the option to customize their servers like that. I think to a certain extent that's a good thing, and it's you know, it's good that players can choose what kind of servers they want to play in, and it's not all the same. But at the same time, I think to a certain extent, the amount of customization can get to be so much that, you know, it's tough to find a server that's, you know, two servers that are identical. And you know, that means that for me, except for maybe those metro servers that I pointed out, but you know, that means for a player like me who really prefer, like I prefer to play in a server where at the very least there's map rotation, and you know, that already, if you're putting that into your you know, list of settings that you want in a server, you know, that already cuts out a good chunk of servers that are populated at any time in Battlefield 3. And you know, say if you don't want fast vehicle respawn, that cuts out another chunk of servers. And if you don't want high tickets, that cuts out another chunk of servers. And so it leaves, you know, for somebody like me, and you know, maybe I'm in the minority here. Maybe you know, the majority of people do like to play on those 24/7 servers. And you know, if that's the case, do let me know. Let me know what you prefer playing, because the reason I bring this up is, you know, it frustrates me, frankly, that it can be difficult sometimes when I log on to Battlelog. It can be difficult for me to find a server that I really want to play in, and you know, that's why recently I've kind of been reverting a little bit to Team Deathmatch, just because in Team Deathmatch there's, you know, there's honestly less stuff that can be changed around, and it's you know, it's really just the kill limit that has changed it around, and it doesn't really change the game that much. It just makes the rounds longer or shorter. And you know, I kind of find it frustrating that that's the case, and I feel like, you know, I don't know if that's necessarily really good for the game population either. Now again, you know, I could be completely wrong about this. I could be coming from an angle that in the minority, where, you know, most people do like those you know, those different customizations. But the reason I'm bringing this up is that I wanted to see what you guys think about this, because you know, for me personally, as I've tried to sort of talk about, I think that this isn't necessarily a good thing. That there are so many servers that are just different, and it's very difficult to find any server that's the same, and that so many of the player or so much of the player population is playing on these, you know, Operation Metro 24/7 servers that, you know, you hear a lot of people complain about. And I don't really, like, I don't know if that's just because there's a lack of, you know, players playing the other servers, and so, you know, people are complaining about it, but they figure, you know, if nobody else is playing it, then, you know, or if nobody else is playing some of the other maps, then I might as well just play Operation Metro. You know, I'm not really sure. So that's the reason that I wanted to kind of bring this up. I wanted to see what you guys think, and you know, I know this is kind of unrelated at all to the gameplay, or I mean, not unrelated at all, but it's not really related to the gameplay, not related to tips, but I am curious to see what you guys think about this. So let me know, I guess, you know, what kind of servers you like to play on, and I guess what you think about, you know, what servers are available now, and you know, if you just go on the server browser. And you know, I do kind of have, I'd like to be able to elaborate a little more on what I've been talking about. You know, I understand that certain maps are going to be better than others, and so more people are going to want to play some of those, although I have trouble understanding that, or I have trouble seeing that that's the case with Operation Metro. And I'm also coming at this this issue from the perspective of a YouTube commentator, where a lot of what I'm going for is variety in the gameplay, and you know, the maps and the game modes that I play. And so, you know, that could be, you know, if I were just a regular player like everybody else who plays this game for the most part, then maybe my perspective would be different. I'm not really sure. And I mean, you know, it is kind of funny, because when I played Battlefield 2042, and I played a lot of that game, I played a lot of Camp Gibraltar. That was the map that I played a ton of. And you know, I don't know, maybe it's just that the gameplay isn't as good in Battlefield 3, or the maps aren't as good, but You know, I haven't really. It's not like I think any of these maps are worth playing that much, I guess. So leave a comment and let me know what you think about what I've talked about in this video. And by all means, feel free to disagree with me. I'm just kind of curious to see what other people think about this. So. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't, gameplay related or tips related, but hopefully you guys found what I had to say interesting. Otherwise, I guess thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later.